Kende Gembadi Sangye Shingdu Mikte Owargi Jokun Namdak Shingla Chuparsho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kandriyatayami
Sangye
Chidam Sogi Shonamla Jangchu Bardu Dagni Gyapsuchi Dagi Chenyen Give Sunamgi Drola Benchir Sangye Juparsho
Sangye
Chidam Sogi Chognamla Jangchu Bardu Dagni Gyapsuchi Dagi Chenyen Give Sunamgi Drola Benchir Sangye Druparsho
Sangye
Chidang Sogi Chognam La Jangchu Bardu Dagni Gyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gipe Sunamki Drola Benchir Sangye Druparsho.
I didn't find a lot of questions in there, but I got a couple.
Okay.
I tried to do the white font thing, so we'll see how that works out. Master Chandrakirti accuses Master Baba Viveka of taking two positions which are inconsistent. What are these two positions?
Waiting for.
Yeah, okay. Good idea.
Is this
Somebody beside Ben.
the ultimate?
I'll make it official.
Regards using the need to use ultimate?
That's one of them, but it's regarding that. And I would, you could state it more.
Yeah, there's more to it there. That it's unnecessary to use it because people don't understand it anyway when you use it? That isn't
If
so?
they understand, you don't have to.
Sorry?
That's how I think.
Wow, I thought this was going to be the easiest of the questions. Ben Kramer!
We'll see.
Oh wait,
I mean,
oh,
I don't
Chintan
know
was
if I'm
saying
right.
Is it
something.
about if you use the word ultimate?
It is about if you use the word ultimate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're using it, then you already have a contradiction in your mind.
Yeah, why? What's it contradicting?
Then they understand the
That they
then
understand the
anyway
word.
because
Ultimately.
you're not,
That's
if you have to
pretty
use it, then you.
It's pretty close,
You
right?
think it has
Some power of itself.
Yeah, now we're getting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job.
This statement has some power of itself.
So say
Was that your position? I forget. That was really good. Yeah.
This is Chandrakirti accusing her of.
Explain it for the Canadian.
Wait, did you get
What's going on here?
So Master Chandrakirti says that Master Baba Viveka.
Nangi keche nam che.
There's a famous syllogism that was put forth by Master Baba Viveka where he used the word ultimately when he was describing.
Give the syllogism.
Okay, he said take the sense powers ultimately. They don't. What is it?
They never start.
They never start
From
because
themselves.
they never start from themselves because they exist. And then he gives an example. It's like consciousness. So the point is, in the subject of that way that they explain the syllogism, they put it in the subject. He said, take the sense powers ultimately. And then these middle way guys come back and say, why did you put ultimately? You didn't need to say the word ultimately. You can just say, take the sense powers.
Higher middle way guys.
Yeah, us. And then Master Chandrakirti is like, look, if you're going to say ultimately and you believe in Ragyu Kitak, which is like self-powered reason, then your logic is internally inconsistent. So that's a big thing that distinguishes the upper middle way school from the lower middle way school, is that the lower middle way school accepts these self-powered reasons. You know, almost like a reason that kind of has some power from its own side. And he's saying, look, if the reason has that power from its own side, then you don't need to say ultimately anyway.
Right.
That's what Master Chandrakirti is accusing. So I think I highlighted.
I like that.
And that's what we thought so.
If you have to say ultimately speaking, take the I. What makes you think your audience is going to misunderstand ultimately speaking less than they understand I? Okay, got it?
I was going to clarify your teaching.
Yeah.
And then you get into, well, the word ultimately has some power of its own that the word I doesn't have. which means you think half the world is coming from their side and half the world is coming from your side. If the word ultimately has some power that the word I doesn't have, then already you're messed up.
Yeah.
Before you present your proof of emptiness, you've already disproved emptiness. That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah. Second question: what, according to Master Bhava Viveka, are the sutras and samkhya's debating, and what characteristics of the subject do they leave out? Yeah. Everybody except Ben may answer.
Oh yeah, we had this.
We did. It's one of the few things we had last class.
So they done dran, and they went on it.
It's a pretty classic debate. That's a hint.
Okay.
Whether it and then like when they're talking about that, so they take sound as the what of the debate. They take sound as the which of the three elements?
Chuchen.
Right. They take it sound as the chochen or the subject for those of you who don't speak Tibetan.
Oh, but they're not even talking about the same thing. So how could they even take it as the?
Are they not talking about the same thing?
Well, that's the argument, isn't it?
Well, if they leave out certain characteristics, then maybe they're talking about the same thing. Which characteristics would they have to be leaving out?
Whether it's changing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Which is the Jupjecha.
Yeah, which is the Drupjecha. So they leave it out of the
So
subject.
it's like Bobby Viveka saying you should always include the Drupjecha as part of the Chochen.
Yeah, that's the
right?
weird confusion.
Yeah,
That's
which-
true.
why-
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why you're bothering to debate.
Right.
That's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Everybody understand that?
Pretty well.
Okay. Okay. Ben and Word and Geshe Michael who got it.
I'm shaking my head yes, Baker.
What's that? Oh, and sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah. I forgot you're obviously getting it too. There we go. Is that the answer? State an incorrect claim about the
Some
middle way
sparkling
school.
water.
State an incorrect claim about the middle way school that people pull from snippets of teachings,
Oh, that-
and
God
state
bless
what Gyaltsab J says should be done with that.
Yeah. totally.
I remember what used to be done,
Stanley knows.
Stanley.
like some snot.
What's problem?
I want to hear from somebody. Yeah, Tim.
Just because you say that the middle way claim, there's a line that says we're beyond all positions.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're just taking little pieces of that and then misunderstand.
So yeah, but what's
But they were never meant to. We don't really mean that.
that they don't take any position on anything?
Right.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
don't understand the context
Yeah.
with the snippet.
This idea should be thrown out like trash. Okay, and then I only found 2 Tibetan words that some of you. These aren't for those of you who know them. who obviously. Tundang, anybody can answer. Dorwa, anybody except Word can.
Torwa.
Torwa. Sorry?
Isn't it
Which one?
Close.
Which one?
like throwing out?
Oh, Tundang first. Let's talk about Tundang. Adam, you know? What?
Looks like it appears.
It's the thing you're
No.
talking about.
Yeah, they
Do they agree upon?
Oh, the
they're talking
shared
about?
object.
yeah.
Hear
Got
the
it.
same
The thing that the 2 people agree upon.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I didn't hear Tundang.
Does the thing that the 2 people are arguing about appear to both of them as the same thing? When you say, let's consider a pen to a dog, there's no tunang,
Right.
because they can't even see a pen. So they're not seeing the same thing you're seeing that you took as your subject to talk about. So how can you go further? And then the question comes up, do 2 debaters ever have the same perception of the subject? Because if they did, they wouldn't be having a debate.
But you could never prove that they didn't.
But if they don't, you're not allowed to debate.
Right. There's some problems.
So then you should take no position.
I was thinking that too.
Right.
Tim, what's Dorwa mean?
They're throwing out.
Good. Thanks.
Toss it.
Throw it out. Throw it out. Like what did you say? Snot? Did we say that?
Yeah, they say like snot.
All right, that's it.
There's a joke in Tibetan that what is it that the rich people keep that the poor people throw?
On a handkerchief.
Rich people use handkerchiefs and they keep it in their pocket, and the poor people are like.
First,
Okay, are you ready?
plane, boss.
Oh, I gotta take the plane.
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go.
Thanks, Nick.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's a good time.
Good time.
I just want to recap what just came, okay? When the second Buddhist group debates the Hindu group, Sankhya, okay, then they are debating about, is Om an eternal entity? Did it come from no time ever, and is it going into the future forever? And did God not even create Om? Om created itself, or something like that. The most famous argument ever. In the monastery, it's like a mantra. Okay, Dachichen takes sound, meaning Om, the sound of Om. Mitakte, it's changing because it was created. It's the most famous argument. So this is referring to that argument. When the sutras, Buddhists, debate with the Sankhyas, and they're going to say take sound. When you say take sound, you have not yet characterized it as being made or not. You cannot have characterized it as being made or not. You have to just take sound in general. You know, don't say sound which is made, don't say sound which is not made. Just say sound, and then we can have an argument. Okay? Our guy. Kepa machepa means don't make a distinction about whether it's changing or unchanging. Just say, take sound. Simple sound. Okay? Don't say, take sound which is changing. It's changing. Okay? Okay, don't put adjectives in front of it, be debate, okay? Just say sound. Just say sound in general, okay? Then, in that same way that you don't characterize it as being made or not made or changing or not changing, in that same way, when a Madhyamikan debates with someone from the three lower schools, functionalist, right? Can't they talk about, in this case, the inner powers, right? Like your I. Can't they talk about it without specifying whether it's real, the real one, or the not real one? Can't they just say the I? You know, do they have to say the real I? You know, can't we just do the same thing that we did back when we debated the non-Buddhists? Okay, got it? And that's a shena.
Claim.
Yeah, apparently that's not Rigpa Gotsun.
Not our guy.
It's not parallel. They're not parallel. Okay? You cannot. You must say something, you know, isn't it good enough to just take the I? Why do you have to say the I which is not true, and dentong, you know, which is not true or is true, is real, not real? Isn't it enough just to do it like we did it back when we debated sound? Shena. And here's the answer to it. Di Lenla, in response, some people have snipped out, you know, from texts. Real Madhyamikans should take no position at all. Okay. In response to that, you know.
So,
What happened?
yeah, it's a little bit confusing.
Sorry?
You kind of flew through the Tibetan in the previous
The
paragraph.
last
We
one?
didn't really cover it. You told us what it meant.
No, I didn't want to go through the Tibetan.
But we
he
did.
has to translate.
No, we did.
No, we already did it.
This is
yeah,
from
yeah,
last.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Apologies.
he says, can't we just do the same thing?
Okay.
And then in reply to that question, some ignorant Madhyamika people say, look, you don't have to answer this question
Right.
because we have no position about anything.
Yeah.
And then Gyaltsab Je says, come on, that's a wimpy, come on.
It's really
Like that.
snotty.
That's really a wimpy thing to say,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then so now we're up to where we are.
Right.
Go. Who's got the plain hustle?
Hey, na.
Give him some hustle.
To de patong.
Hustle.
Hey, nikala. Kang ki kyang kepa parma. Chepetra rang tsempa. Nike dun e tunang jila. Umapatang mawa nila te tabu me te.
I'll give you the guts of it in a second. Okay? The sutras and those other guys, meaning the day here is the Sankhyas, right? They both have a tunang.
Yeah.
They both look at the sound the same way. But the Madhyamikans and the lower three schools, that kind of thing may. It's not happening.
Oh.
Okay, it's not a parallel case. It's not happening. Okay? I admit that when the Buddhists debate the non-Buddhists, and they say, let's start from sound, that you can do that. But in this particular debate, when a Madhyamikan meets a lower school, it doesn't work. That approach doesn't work. There is no, may means there is no tunang.
Wow, interesting.
There is no shared perception of the subject under consideration. Okay, got it?
Is this us? Yeah.
I hope so, because it's the only sentence I understand. Okay, now let's go back and see the wording. Okay, dena, which is a weak dena in my opinion. Just because someone got the expression "we take no position" wrong, and we point out that it didn't mean that now we can say there's no tunang. It's kind of a weak argument to me. Anyway, dena, the dodepas.
The dodepas and
what's it in English?
The sutrists.
Why called sutrist?
Because they like the because they rejected the Abhidharma.
Why?
Because it wasn't the word of the Buddha, according to them.
Yeah, because Abhidharma was put together by human beings, and the sutras were put together by enlightened beings. We reject Abhidharma. Second school, okay? They're called sutras. They nikala.
Both of
yeah,
those,
and dangde, you understand is Sankhya, okay?
Yeah.
Both of them, kangi kyan kepa machepe, if you make no distinctions at all about the sound. If you don't say changing or unchanging, just simple sound. Kangi kyang means at all. Kepa mache means don't distinguish them. Make no qualification. It's qualification. If you don't qualify it in any way at all, just sound itself. Rang tsemba here means sound on its own. Okay, Rang tsemba here, it's similar to the Rang tsen in the second school. But here it just means, let's just take sound on its own. Rang tsemba. Nike de.
They can agree.
Yeah,
they
both of them agree on such a thing. Both of them, they can agree that there is such a thing. Therefore, they have a tunang.
They have a harmonious.
They share a perception of the subject under consideration. They share a perception of the subject that we're debating about. Tunang. Chichen tunangwa. They have a tunang, shared perception of the chichen, subject under consideration. Yula, whereas. Yeah, so it's not so much but, it's more like whereas.
Yeah.
Whereas in the case of the umapas, and the Ngopamawas, why are they called functionalists?
Because they believe things exist if they
thing really
perform a
exists
function.
if it does stuff.
Yeah.
Say again?
The thing really exists because it does stuff.
They believe in causes and
Kinda.
conditions.
They believe gas has something in it that can run a car. They believe gas has something in it that can run a car. Okay? All scientists are Ngumawa. Okay? They believe that. Okay, look, there may be other empty things, but look, gas has something in it. You put water in your car, it's not going to go anywhere.
Very true.
Okay, that's their position. Okay, which means there can't be my car out there because there's no such thing as a hybrid. Okay, Ngumawini. They do not have it. Detabu means they don't have anything like that, meaning
A subject that they agree upon.
yeah, they don't have a tunang. Okay, go.
Umape ni rangten taki ngak char chela ngapor mawan ni rangten lo yul tuma sharwe suk sok ki tunmong min pe ngoa lo yul tumi charwar ndepe chir.
Yeah, now he's playing on the word rang semba, in and of itself. Let's just take sound in and of itself. And he's playing. He's saying there's no, the two debaters in this case do not have a shared perception of this thing on its own because there's no such thing as an on its own thing. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, got it?
Rangten meaning rangiten.
Yeah, rang semba in the last sentence. You see? but I take it as Rangitsani Kidrupa. See, it means, yeah, because the other guy said, let's just take sound on its own. He says, we don't have such a thing.
Right.
We don't have such a thing. Okay, and there is no sound on its own.
So
Got
to
it?
say it like Rangtsen as opposed to Chitsen kind of is Rangitsani Kidrupa.
Yeah, kind of. You're right.
Oh.
It is. Takigakja Chela. That's the thing we're trying to disprove.
That's cool.
That's the whole thing. That's what the
Yeah.
syllogism is for. That's the gakja of our whole syllogism.
All right.
Okay? Don't start the argument with, let's take the eye on its own.
Wow, yeah. This
That's
is
what we're trying to disprove.
Good. That's rad.
Okay, got it?
yeah.
That's a gotcha. Sick.
And this clarifies the whole last term.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
All of a sudden, a weight just lifts down.
Maybe. Maybe.
He's coming for you.
Don't get too excited. The functionalist. As for the functionalist.
As for the functionalness, Rangtsen,
Yeah. Lo Yul. Huh. That could be an object that they. It does appear to them as an object.
well, they also believe that,
Form and
the eye in and of itself, if it were a unique quality of the eye, if by eye by itself you mean a unique quality of the eye, we would also have no, I don't say that. I have trouble with this one, obviously. Let's go slow, okay? The functionalness, by the way, what's the gakja according to the lower middle way?
Something that exists independent of. The lower middle way. Something that exists independent of parts.
well,
Well, without
Rangi tumo mayembe duluksu drupa.
Yeah, something that exists on its own without a
appears to you
mind,
when you
without a
see
name
it.
and a
Through
label.
some unique way of its own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so can things exist 50% from their side in the lower middle way?
Yeah.
Yeah, but but is that 50% that comes from their side inherent to them? They'd say no.
No, you still need
Okay.
you still need a mind to see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You would still need to have the 50% from your mind,
Yeah.
For it to exist.
50-50. Without one or the other, you can't have a thing.
Whatever.
So it doesn't have any existence in and of itself, independent of my perceiving it. That's lower middle way, 50-50 school, 50-50 school.
That's probably why it's.
But how about the Lupamawa?
It does.
100%.
Yeah, it does. Gasoline has a power. There's something in gasoline which makes it run a car. Okay?
Right.
In means
From its own side.
Rangitseni Kidupa. It's my new translation for in and of itself. In.
Just in.
I am. It's cheap. It's
That's
small.
what you were asking.
Okay, in. Okay, yeah, in means self-existent. Okay, so anyway, Ngupamawani, Rangtsen means just take this on its own. Just take sound on its own. Okay? Lo yu du masharwe sukso, which does not,
Appear.
visible matter which doesn't appear to the mind. Okay? As an object of the mind.
Yeah.
etc. Tuma mayembe ngo.
Is not an object of mind?
Well, I have trouble with it because they do accept the tuma mayembe ngo. Okay?
Maybe the ma's an accident there.
Maybe it's something that cannot make its appearance to the mind. I don't know.
Is it because it's tumong min and ma shad? Is it like double negating there?
Well, what he wants to say, according to what he says next, is that the expression just take the eye on its own is unacceptable to both of them.
Oh.
Now, you would think that if he's trying to prove that they didn't have the same perception of the object, one of them would say, you can't say that, and one of them would say, you can say that, but apparently he's going to say neither one would accept it if you said, just take sound on its own. I'm sorry, just take the eye on its own, okay? It'd be objectionable to the Madhyamikans, and it would be objectionable to the functionalists. But, it's kind of not what we wanted him to prove.
Yeah.
Because that would kind of seem like a tunung.
Yeah.
Then it would seem like they kind of have
They agree to disagree?
no, then it would seem like they both have the same perception of what it's not.
Yeah.
They would both have an objection to Rangsen.
Yeah.
Just take the I on its own, okay? What you're expecting is for him to say, the functionalists think it could come from its own side, and the Madhyamikans don't think it comes from its own side, so they can't argue about it. Because from the beginning they see it differently. But he proceeds to prove that they do see it the same way, in a way, but for different reasons. Okay, they both think it's kind of unreal for the same reasons.
So you're
Okay,
saying Tummo. So,
for different reasons. Okay, so let's go through the grammar again.
okay, thank you.
The Ngopo Maoist, the functionalist, Rangsen, just take the I on its own.
Without.
Lo yudu mashawe suksoki tumo mimbingo. Lo yudu machawa. It cannot make its appearance to the mind. It cannot appear as an object to the mind. Okay? Why? Some kind of unique way of being on its own cannot appear to the mind.
Okay.
Unique
But that's a
form.
lower middle way position.
Well, but they still say.
Let's go on and see if it helps. Okay? When you're stumped, go on. And come back.
Which is different from giving up.
Kind of. Okay, this sentence is easier. Okay.
Tena Rangsen Tang Te Tong Pa Nika Loyul Tu Sharwa Lamat Pe Suk Sok Tam Loyul Tu Sharwa Umape Kyang Tempa Pa Nikar Tu Min De Ngapor Mawe Kyang Min De Pe Chir.
Okay, now I'll go to the second half because it's going to help. The Madhyamikans would deny such a thing, whichever reality you're talking about. Ultimate reality or deceptive reality. In either case, it cannot exist. Okay? In either case, it cannot exist. Okay, they would object to it in either case. Okay? And the functionalists would also not agree to it. Now, what is it that they're not? What is it that the functionalists are not agreeing to?
In ultimate reality.
Which the Madhyamikans are saying isn't possible in either case. It's Rangsen. Just take the I. Just take the I. Why did someone want to say that?
So that we'd have a shared.
Yeah, so we'd have a shared thing to talk about.
Right.
In the same way that we did back when we
Talked about sound.
when we argued with the non-Buddhists about sound. Let's just do the same thing here. Why can't we just do the same thing here?
Right.
Okay? So actually, if you want to go deeper, Baba Viveka's addition of ultimately is wrong. And the pursuit of a shared Chechen is also impossible.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
The two debaters never are looking at the same thing.
Right.
Get over it. Okay? Maybe. And let's see. Okay, Rangsen, something that's just take it the way it is. And we say, De Tomba. That's a gotcha, man. That's a gotcha. Things are empty of that. Of that in English, by that in Tibetan. Things are empty of that, man. What? Just take it on its own. Don't use those words with me, man. Okay, I don't accept on its own. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Okay, Dandi Nika, De Tomba Nika,
Both.
Lo Yu to Shawa Lama Tupe. Okay, don't
Rely.
don't take it. Take an appearance of this object to the mind without making that distinction. Without making that distinction. It's simply what it is, or it's empty of what it is. Don't make that distinction. Lo yutu sharlamatupe. Forget that. Cancel that. Okay. Do colors appear to the mind or not? Okay. Okay. Don't talk to me about emptiness, gakcha, the thing by itself. Forget all those distinctions. Can it just appear to my mind as it is? And the Umapa says, no.
Right.
Well, oh, you mean ultimately? No, I mean either.
Yeah.
Right.
So don't go adding ultimately to it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean either Dendan Dembalatene or Kunzo Dembalatene, whether you're taking according to deceptive reality or whether you're taking according to ultimate reality, they're both impossible.
Yeah.
Okay, got it?
Uh-huh.
So there's no point to add the word ultimately.
Yeah.
Okay? Charwa, by the way, this all derives from the opening lines of what Geshe Michael's going to teach at Diamond Mountain if he has any time to look at it, which is,
Root text.
what's the opening line?
Not
Things don't exist, things don't not exist, neither both nor neither.
They don't arise from
Okay.
themselves. Other.
Or you could say, yeah, they don't arise from themselves, they don't arise from something else, they don't arise from both,
Yeah.
and they don't arise from neither. One of those seems as though it would be normally possible.
Other.
Yeah, and Nagarjuna says no. And he doesn't say, ultimately speaking. Okay, no, that's where this whole argument comes from. Because Bhava Viveka is ultimately talking about Nagarjuna. It's almost like Nagarjuna should have said, ultimately speaking, you know. Obviously, three of those choices are wrong. Things don't arise from the cells, I understand that. Things don't arise both from the cells and something else, I understand that. Things don't arise from neither from the cells or something else, I understand that. But things do arise from something else. No, they don't. That's Nagarjuna, okay? Bhava Viveka wants to correct Nagarjuna. Could you please say, ultimately speaking? Okay, got it? All right, Umapekyan Dembanikon Dumindu Ngupamana. Now, it gets a little easier. Here we go. Go ahead.
Lopundawa Chakpadang Pao Chok Lang Ni Ka Nika Rangu Ki Tensi Kinatsu Jukche Ki Tseme Tsawa Lo Chur Ma Tak Bar Gyöpe Te Kona Ni Zimpala Rak Le Bar Shepa Ni Ka Tungkyang Dawa Chakpae Te Tapu Mi Sipe Chir Rangu Ki Tensi Mi Shepa Yino.
Okay, Lopandawa Dharpa,
Master Chandra.
Master Chinkirti, and who's Cholang?
Dignaga.
Yeah,
Master
Dignaga.
Both of them.
The Naga in Dignaga, by the way, refers to elephants
Right.
who guard the directions. Dig means directions. Digital, dictator, they all mean direction. And but the Naga here means those elephants of the directions. So he was considered someone who could support the world. Okay. So Dignaga, and
Master
because if you try to find elephant in the word Dignaga, you're in trouble.
Right.
Okay. Nika, they both say Rang Gyuki Tenzig Yina if it's one of those independent,
Yeah.
which is how the school got its name. Which school?
Independent school.
Yeah, the lower branch of the middle way is how this school translation is going to talk about it. Gyuki Tenzig Yina, okay.
If there were.
Sul Drupche, let's talk about Sul Drupche. You gotta understand it means Sul Sum Drupche.
Three methods of proving?
Yeah, the confirmation steps of proving the reason, right? Those three steps.
All right.
Oh, cool.
Okay,
If not
one
two.
must be three, if three, two, if not two, not three.
Cool.
Okay?
Change the Chechen and the Chechen.
No, this means confirming the three relationships.
Okay.
So you must translate this as confirming the relationships. Otherwise, you're going to get messed up. So Drupche means confirming the relationships. In Buddhism, this is how you confirm the validity of a syllogism, right?
Yeah.
The thing you say first must be three. One must be three, if three, two, if not two, not three. These are the three relationships, okay? You must confirm them to see whether it's a valid argument, okay? In the case of let's take sound, it's not unchanging actually, because it's made. What's the first sul?
Sound is made.
Is it true that sound is made?
Yeah, sound is made. One is three. Is it true that if three, two? If something is made,
if something is made,
it must be changing. Yes. Second one droop. Second sul drooped. now let's try to droop the third soul. If it's not mitapa, is it always not chepa?
Yes, true.
True.
Yeah,
Correct.
confirm.
Yeah.
It's a ta yanda.
Correct.
Actually, technically, I'd say deduki ta yanda in the context. That's another story.
Established by correct.
Okay, yeah, but this soul droop means confirm the three relationships. Okay, so drupje kitsema, it's got to be a pramana. Okay, an accurate perception. Okay, tsawa, semitsawa, ne droma tapar. This is the past tense of drondok.
Right.
Overestimate.
Okay,
So
yeah.
you've made your gok job.
What is a common example of overestimate?
Thinking something exists
For
like, on its own side.
Yeah.
Or thinking gas has a power to run a car. That's drotakpa. And if you overreact to that statement and you say nothing can power a car, that's kunda. That's underestimating. There's no good English, I think, yet for those two. Overestimating the power of gas, it can run a car without my karmic seeds. Underestimating the gas, no gas can run my car. Okay, all right. Here he's talking about drotopa. Where's the dro mean, by the way?
Oh,
According to Geshe Tuta Rinpoche's videos or recordings,
it's been a while.
he took a long time on this. He said dro is the. I remember going hunting with my father in Utah. We were on a mountain. We crossed the mountain and we came to a turkey farm. And we were high over a turkey farm that spread across a whole valley, like 50,000 turkeys making noise. And it stink and smell, and they once a year they slaughter all of them, you know. And so our guide was one of the guys who helped slaughter them, you know, the mountain guide, and we were shooting deers, and you know. So anyway, he's like, yeah, we use the meat and we use the feathers. We cut them up and we make arrows out of them. So that's a dro. The feather that you attach to an arrow
Fletching?
is leching. Is fletching. Yeah, is a dro. Dro means a piece of a feather that you attach to something, meaning you give it more than it was supposed to be. You over add. That's all. Dro tak means to attach the feather. Okay, so droma tapar. I'm trying to stall so I don't understand this. I'm just kidding. Maybe. Okay.
So they're not overestimating?
Yeah, the mind is not estimating. Yebe, dekonani zimbala rakle par. It must depend. Rakle is an idiom that means tupa.
To rely upon.
To rely upon. Tupa, temba, rakleba, all the same. Okay? Okay. They're all the same. Shepa. These two positions of these two masters, both of them meaning Chandrakirti and Dignaga, they agree that that is the case. Okay? But I'm going to go back over it. Yeah, I'm going to go back over it.
Throughout the beginning of the sentence.
Me too. But they differ on the importance of it. Chandrakirti says that's impossible, and therefore he doesn't accept a Svatantrika reasoning, a Rangyuki Tensei, which is why the lower middle way school got its name. Chandrakirti denies a reason which has a power from its own side. He would say gasoline doesn't have a power to drive a car. Okay, so they both have an agreement on something about a Rangyuki Tensei. They agree on some point of that, but they don't agree on whether it's possible or not. Let's see what they do agree on. For you, you would have to understand suchness, right? You would have to understand suchness if you wanted to avoid the mind overestimating. Okay, the engine, the tsawa, the engine of logic, which is used to confirm the tsusum.
Where's the void?
Can you say that again?
Matakbar. Okay.
You'd have to understand such.
So if you don't understand emptiness, you will believe that there is some power in the reason that can prove something.
Okay.
Okay, like gasoline. That there's some power in gasoline. There's some chemical in gasoline that can make it.
In order to understand how to prove something, you have to understand suchness, but they don't agree on what suchness is.
Right. Yeah. I guess they're both. Well, maybe they're saying that they both agree on what a svatantrika would be.
Mm-hmm.
That it would have to have some
A svatantra.
part of it that could prove things on its own.
Yeah.
But only Chandrakirti says that's not possible.
Mhm.
They both agree on what a rangyu would be.
Yeah.
That it would have some element in it that had its own power.
Uh-huh.
But only Chandrakirti would say that that's not possible.
Yeah.
They both agree on the description
Right.
of a svatantra,
Yeah.
of a reason that had some power of its own. But they disagree on whether they exist or not.
Uh,
Okay, I'm going to read it that way, and we'll go back to this next time. Okay, we'll go back to this. Because I want to go to the next. What time we go to?
we have 10 more minutes.
Good. Okay.
11.
Because so down Darpa, he would say, because Chandrakirti doesn't accept the Svatantra reason that they both agree on how it's described,
Right.
he doesn't accept it. Rangyu Kitenzig Mishe, meaning Chandrakirti.
You said-
He doesn't accept it.
you said
because Chandrakirti doesn't accept such reasoning that would have some efficacy of its own, some power of its own,
Because he says it's
because he says it's impossible that there could be something in it that had its own power.
Okay.
Okay, got it?
Yep.
But having something inside it that has its own power is something they both agree on would be a svatantra.
Right, right, right.
Okay, got it? Whether they exist or not, they disagree.
Uh-huh.
But they both agree that people, pose such
Right.
syllogisms.
The people speak in
They
as if-
believe
as
in
if-
syllogisms this way.
Yeah, yeah.
They describe the syllogism the same. One of them says it's fine. One of them said it's impossible.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
That's helpful.
Okay. I like the next part because I also understand this one.
Oh.
And let's do it because I like to kind of wrap the day up on a happy note where we all understand something. Okay, so go ahead.
Kachik umapa yinna rangi gyuki jesu pakpa jawar mirik shepe tiksel tikla tene umarang gyupe umape ko niche pa nimirik te.
Okay.
Hapex legitimately.
Okay, this is really obscure and it's cute. Okay, some people say if you're going to be a Madhyamikan, okay, if you want to count yourself as a Madhyamikan, then you better not quote, and then he's quoting something, he doesn't say where it's from. Okay, you better not Rangi Gyugi Jesu Papa Chawa Miring. It would be wrong for you to use this logic, right? Jesu Jepak Tsema of the Rangyupas. Okay?
Yeah.
If you want to be a Madhyamikan, don't go around using these Rangyukitensiks. Okay? Some people heard that quotation. Who said it? Chandrakirti. Where? Prasanapada. Okay? 6 cell. Yeah, clarification of the wording of Nagarjuna's text.
Not the verses.
Yeah, not the meaning, which is what's the job of entering the middle way. So Chandrakirti wrote 2 commentaries to Nagarjuna, one explaining the wording, one explaining the meaning. The meaning one won out in the evolution of text. I like to speak about the evolution of text, If your translation's good, it will survival of the fittest. And if it's bad, it will sink into obscurity quickly. Okay, and we'll put it on the shelf with these other ones. Okay, just kidding, not. Okay, so siglatene means sigselke siglatene. Okay, they refer to that little snippet in the clarification of the words by Chandakirti, which says, if you're going to be a Umapa, if you're going to be a Madhyamikan, don't go believing in those reasons whose engine has its own power. Okay, some people say, okay, that Siglatene, believing, having read that line in Chandakirti, they say, Umarangyupe Umape Komicha. It took me like 3 days to figure this out. Okay, it's a simple naro, which destroyed the meaning. Okay, and I was looking for hapax legamenon. This is all wrong. Okay, it's komicha, and that's a cool idiom. Say go chupa. Go chupa. Let me take you an example. Yeah. So somebody in our family is losing their hair. And it tends to stuff up the bathtub's drain. And it's not blonde. And then we bought the plumber taught me to buy these long needle nose pliers. And you can reach down and you save like $100 calling the guy. It goes way down and you pull them out, Now, the other day we lost the pliers. Okay. No, they're too big. But we found out that chopsticks, kochupa. Yeah, they can do the same thing. They can substitute, they can stand in for the pliers. So you never know. When you teach your students go chupa, you're going to talk about Geshe Michael's hair. No, because when I remember Rinpoche teaching it, it's something that he was personal to him. So you'll never forget this expression, go chupa, can stand in for. And that guy says, umarangyupas komicha umapa.
They cannot stand in for the middle.
Yeah. Don't call them Madhyamikans then. Don't call them Madhyamikans then. Why? Because Chandakirti said, in 6L, no good Madhyamikan would go believing in this kind of reason. No good Madhyamikan would go believing in this reason that has some power from its own side. Okay? Then the other guy says, yeah, Svatantrikas aren't Madhyamika. Komicha. Why? Chandakirti said so. Where? 6L. Okay? In his commentary. Let's kick him out of the Madhyamika club. They want 50% from his own side. They don't deserve to be in the Madhyamika club. Okay, that's his Shenluk.
So we're actually going to defend Svatantrika here in a minute.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We're going to say, come on, let's let them be in the club. They're not perfect, but they're not so bad. So the statement here, after all this wrestling about Svatantric reasons, self-effective reasons, half self-effective reasons. One of the places the argument goes to is let them stay in the club. They're not perfect. Let them stay in the club. Okay. Do we have some time?
We do have 4 minutes.
Oh, let's go to. Here's, by the way, Kirupta Madhargya uses that quotation for the same point. Here's the original quotation from 6L. Here. Okay. Umapa yena rangi gyuki jesu papa chawarikpa ma iya mayinde. If you're a Madhyamikan, you shouldn't be using this logic, indirect reasoning, right? You shouldn't be using logic of this type, which says that the word ultimate has some power of its own. Okay, got it?
Yep. Let's keep it again.
Okay, go.
Teni rangyu mi rikpar fartenki umapa tang rangyu kelempa Ngelwar tumpa ni mayinte.
Yeah. These words of Chandakirti in Prasanapada, they do indicate that it would be wrong to accept this kind of reasoning that has some efficacy on its own side. But they are not meant to indicate Timba that it's contradictory to be a Madhyamikan if you do accept it. Okay? They say a Madhyamikan shouldn't accept it, but it doesn't mean you get kicked out of the Madhyamika club if you do accept it. Okay? And then he gives a funny, understandable sentence. And we'll go back over the last few sentences, okay? To prove it. And you're going to translate this for me. Gelong?
Monks.
Read it first.
Gelong chang tung ni repar tempe chang tompe tong kyur ngirwa ni mayino.
Yeah, when a monk, no, it's mirik for a monk.
Yeah, to drink beer.
To drink alcohol. By the way, this is a general alcohol name.
Right.
When you teach somebody that, okay, when you give a teaching and you say it's improper for monks to drink alcohol, it's not that that's a reason for them. It's not that alcohol is a cause for them losing their vows.
Yeah.
They don't get kicked out of the monks club just because they drank a little alcohol, which is kind of a funny criticism of the lower middle way. You know, it kind of has a lot of meanings there.
Basically, they're fine, they're monks, but they're monks who party.
They got a little drunk. They came up with this idea, 50%, 50%. They got a little drunk, came up with this idea. They're not so bad people. We don't have to kick them out, you know. Okay, they're just a little crazy. Okay, got it? Some days they're crazy, but that doesn't mean we should kick them out. Okay, it's kind of cute. That's Gyaltsab J talking.
It's 1:30.
Yeah, stopped here. 9.
Isn't it the reason they get kicked out?
No.
Is it a
It's not one of the. It's not a pamba.
No, it's not even killing people or having sex.
Monks drinking beer all over Tibet.
Then it gets sexier. Okay. Then it gets even sexier.
Cool. Well, we gotta struggle with this part.
Yeah, we'll come back to this part. But now we kind of know where he's going.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's helpful to get the part after the part you don't understand. Wait 3 days, come back to it, and then suddenly it's clear, like his quotation. You see what I mean? Okay. When you struggle, there is a result. It just takes time to ripen. Okay.
Thank you. Sashi
Puki Joshime Tocham Rira Bishi Ninde Gempani Sangye Shindu Mite Uargi Joku Namda Shinla Chupasho Idam Gurana Mandala Kamya Tayami Kewa Di Kewokun Sanam Yeshe Tsotso Shin Sanam Yeshe Lechue Tabakuni Topasho Shogish Mugi.